I was given a short time to say a few words, and I'm grateful to Rachel for setting the scene. I'm not used to receiving awards, and I feel very humbled by this evening's activities. And I'd first like to thank Professor Jean-Yimon Shangu and Chairperson of the MRC Board, and Professor Glenn Gray, President and CEO of the South African Medical Research Council, for this honor and recognition. And I'd also like to thank my colleague, friend, and nominator, Professor Malcolm Collins, who's the Deputy Director of the UCT Center for Research Center for Health Through Physical Activity, Lifestyle, and Sport. On my academic and research journey, I was privileged to be mentored before I came to this country by Professors Diane Ward, who is no longer with us, Russell Pate, and Stephen Blair, also passed, from the University of South Carolina. From South Africa, Professor Tim Noakes, Crystal Steyn, Yomi Levitt, and Tandi Puani. And colleagues, Professor Willem van Mechelen, Adrian Baumann, Fiona Bull, Jim Salas, Abby King, and Amy Luke, spanning from Europe to California to Australia, amongst others. And I've also been blessed with a legacy of former PhD students, some of them who are in this room tonight, who themselves have become leaders in their fields, such as Professor Julia Goodicke, Lisa Nicholsfields, and Glenn Kiza, Laura Dugas, and Tracy Colby-Alexander, amongst others. And I'm especially grateful to my colleagues working in the UCT Research Center for Health Through Physical Activity, Lifestyle, and Sport. I've been fortunate to be a member of a number of global networks, including, as mentioned, the Modeling the Epidemiological Transition, the Active Healthy Kids Global Alliance, the Global Diet and Activity Research Network, and importantly, the Our Voice Global Network for Citizen Science and Health Equity, and a network which we began ourselves, the African Physical Activity Network, in 1995. I've also been privileged to represent South Africa and the Global South in advocacy and policy development with the World Health Organization and USA Centers for Disease Control. And I'm grateful to the funding agencies that have supported our work, the MRC, the NRF, the National Institute of Health, the National Institute of Health Research in the UK, and the International Development Research Center in Canada. I'm grateful for the opportunity to respond to this award, and in so doing, to highlight the issues for which I am passionate. I would like to note that, to my knowledge, this is the first SAMRC Merit Award in a field primarily characterized by a focus on physical activity and population health. The importance of physical activity as a major health risk factor cannot be overemphasized. At this time, I wish to recognize and make you aware of the cadre of scientists and researchers of South Africa, of Africa, and other LMICs, many of whom now are working remotely in the global north, whose work on physical activity and health, equity, and upstream determinants could and does in some cases inform policy and practice. It is often said, and we're often told, that there is a lack of capacity in this area of research in our region. However, one might argue that rather than capacity, there is a lack of prioritization and access to adequate funding. As the most physically active continent on the planet, we run the risk of losing this status with increasing urbanization and development. For example, in our country, less than half of the adults are sufficiently active, and more than 2/3 of women are overweight or obese. We have an urgency to make physical activity a priority, both within and beyond the health sector. I'm encouraged that in receiving this award, there is recognition for this work and the collaborative and growing network of Global South researchers whose passion and commitment I am privileged to share. I'm especially thankful to my adopted country, South Africa, for allowing me to continue to champion physical activity and health, and to the University of Cape Town for providing an academic and research home. And finally, and most importantly, I would like to thank my family, in particular my husband, Emeritus Professor Mike Lambert, who provided the support, encouragement, and freedom to pursue my academic and research career. Thank you very much.